Breaking news, America. The financial relief we've all been waiting for is finally here. President Trump has just signed a groundbreaking executive order in the Oval Office that will send $2,300 stimulus checks directly to the bank accounts of millions of Americans who need it most. Are you one of the eligible recipients? Will this money arrive in time to help with your mounting bills? Stay with me throughout this video as I reveal all the critical details you need to know about this latest development that could put thousands of dollars in your pocket within weeks. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now so you never miss important updates that could directly impact your financial situation. The scene at the White House today was one of decisive action. After months of congressional deadlock and economic uncertainty, President Trump took matters into his own hands with a sweeping executive order aimed at providing immediate financial relief to Americans struggling with inflation and rising costs of living. This stimulus package specifically targets low-income individuals, with special provisions for those receiving Social Security benefits, including SSI, SSDI, and our veterans receiving VA benefits. The president emphasized that this action was necessary to protect vulnerable Americans from ongoing economic pressures that have disproportionately affected those on fixed incomes. Why $2,300 specifically? According to White House economic advisors, this amount was carefully calculated to cover approximately 3 months of essential expenses for the average recipient. It represents a significant increase from previous stimulus payments and acknowledges the prolonged nature of current economic challenges. But what does this mean for you and your family? How quickly will these funds actually reach your bank account? And perhaps most importantly, do you qualify? Let's break down the eligibility requirements. To receive the full $2,300 payment, individuals must have an annual income below $75,000. For married couples filing jointly, that threshold increases to $150,000. If you earn more than these amounts but less than $99,000 for individuals or $198,000 for couples, you'll receive a reduced payment. The most important thing to note is that if you're currently receiving SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, you automatically qualify for this stimulus payment regardless of whether you file taxes or not. This is a critical difference from some previous stimulus programs that required additional steps from benefit recipients. Many of you have been reaching out with questions about how this payment will affect your existing benefits. The good news is that these stimulus checks are classified as disaster relief payments, not as income. This means they won't count toward resource limits for programs like SSI, and they won't reduce your monthly benefit amounts. Isn't it refreshing to receive government assistance without having to worry about losing other essential benefits? This thoughtful approach demonstrates a deeper understanding of the complex web of support systems that many Americans rely on. Now, let's talk timing. When will this money actually hit your bank account? According to Treasury Department officials, the first wave of direct deposits will begin processing within 14 days of the executive order signing. Paper checks will follow approximately 1 week later. For those receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, the process should be seamless. The funds will be deposited directly to the same account where you receive your regular benefits. Have you verified that your banking information is up to date with the Social Security Administration? If not, now would be an excellent time to do so to avoid any delays. Some of you might be wondering about the legal basis for this executive action. Can the president really authorize such significant spending without congressional approval? The administration cites the ongoing national emergency declaration related to economic recovery as providing the necessary legal framework. However, several legal experts have suggested that congressional challenges could arise. Does this mean the payments could be delayed or halted entirely? While possible, most analysts agree that once the payment process begins, it would be politically difficult to stop, even if legal questions persist. The economic impact of injecting billions of dollars directly into the hands of consumers cannot be overstated. Financial analysts project that this stimulus could provide a much-needed boost to local economies as recipients spend on necessities like food, housing, utilities, and healthcare. Have you considered how you'll use your payment? While many will need to address immediate needs and outstanding bills, financial advisors suggest setting aside a portion for emergencies if possible, especially given the uncertain economic outlook. For those concerned about potential tax implications, Treasury officials have confirmed that these payments will not be subject to federal income tax. This means the full $2,300 is yours to keep and use as needed. State tax treatment may vary, however, so it's worth checking with local tax authorities or a tax professional if you're uncertain about state-level implications. Wouldn't it be frustrating to plan for the full amount only to discover unexpected tax obligations later? Let's address some common questions that have been flooding my comments section since this news broke. First, what about dependents? Unlike some previous stimulus programs, this executive order does not include additional payments for dependents. The focus is specifically on providing relief to individual benefit recipients. Second, what if you've recently applied for benefits but haven't started receiving them yet? According to administration officials, anyone approved for benefits by the date of the executive order signing will qualify for the stimulus payment, even if they haven't received their first regular benefit payment. Another frequent question concerns retirees who don't receive SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits but do receive regular Social Security retirement benefits. The good news is that you're included as well. All Social Security recipients who meet the income requirements will receive payments. What about recent changes to your situation? If you've had significant life changes since filing your last tax return, perhaps you've retired, become disabled, or experienced a substantial income reduction, how will this affect your eligibility? The Treasury Department has indicated that they'll primarily use 2023 tax returns to determine eligibility, but there will be an appeals process for those whose circumstances have significantly changed. The timing of this stimulus payment coincides with increasing financial pressure on households nationwide. With inflation affecting everything from grocery bills to housing costs, many Americans living on fixed incomes have been forced to make increasingly difficult choices. Have you found yourself choosing between filling prescriptions and putting food on the table? Or perhaps you've been delaying necessary home repairs or medical procedures due to financial constraints? These are exactly the situations this stimulus payment aims to address, providing breathing room in tight budgets. Critics and supporters alike have been vocal about this executive action. Supporters praise the immediate relief it provides to those most in need, while critics question both the legal authority for such spending and whether one-time payments represent the most effective approach to ongoing economic challenges. Would a more comprehensive legislative solution with sustained support be more beneficial in the long run? Perhaps, but for millions of Americans struggling right now, immediate relief cannot wait for the ideal solution to materialize. For those concerned about potential scams, and unfortunately, these always increase during stimulus periods, remember that the government will never call, text, or email asking for personal or banking information related to these payments. No legitimate government agency will request fees to process your payment or ask for sensitive information like your Social Security number over the phone. Have you received suspicious communications already? Report them immediately to the Federal Trade Commission through their website. The implementation of this stimulus program represents one of the largest direct payment initiatives in recent years. The logistical challenges are substantial, but administration officials express confidence in the systems developed during previous stimulus distributions. The IRS and Social Security Administration have established a joint task force to ensure smooth delivery, particularly to benefit recipients who don't typically file tax returns. Isn't it reassuring to know that lessons learned from past stimulus programs are being applied to make this process more efficient? As we approach the distribution date, many community organizations and financial institutions are preparing to assist recipients who may need help managing these funds. Local banks have announced extended hours, and many nonprofits are offering financial literacy resources specifically tailored to this stimulus payment. Have you connected with resources in your community that might help you maximize the impact of this payment on your financial situation? Sometimes a brief consultation with a financial counselor can provide valuable perspective on priorities. I'll be closely monitoring this situation as it develops and will provide updates as more details become available. Remember that while this payment will provide significant relief, it's also important to consider long-term financial planning. Are there steps you can take now to improve your financial resilience going forward? Perhaps using a portion of these funds to address high-interest debt or establishing an emergency fund could help create more stability in the months ahead. Before I wrap up, let me remind you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to stay informed about all developments related to this stimulus payment and other financial news that impacts your bottom line. Your financial well-being matters, and staying informed is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward security and stability. Have questions I didn't address? Drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to find answers in upcoming videos. The $2,300 stimulus checks represent a significant lifeline for millions of Americans, especially those receiving SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. While questions about implementation and long-term impacts remain, the immediate relief these funds will provide is undeniable. Keep your banking information updated, watch out for scams, and stay tuned to this channel for ongoing updates as this story develops. Together, we'll navigate these challenging economic times with the information and resources needed to make the most of available assistance.